So today we're going to continue our introduction of Onshape by picking up where we left off yesterday. In this case, we're going to make a drawing. You will have received a set of drawings that look something like this. Today I'm going to do drawing number 9. Yesterday we made a rectangle, and now we're going to extrude that to make a three-dimensional shape. You can see that this shape is not just a rectangle, but has part of a hole cut out. It has a fillet on this edge. And so we're going to put all that in. Something that's very important for you to know is that this grid determines how big your object is. Each grid box is 0.25 inches. There are 9 of them in this direction, so that's 2.25 inches. There are 6 of them in this direction, that's 1.5 inch. There are 4 in this direction, or 1 inch. All right, so the first thing you really need to do, though, is to create a folder for all your work. So let's do that up in this left-hand corner. I would like you to do it this way. I would like you to name it with your last name, comma, your first name, and then all your drawings can go in there, and then you can have folders within folders, for instance. Now I'm going to create a name for my drawing. Since I've done this once or twice, my drawing will be slightly different name than yours, but this is the convention I'd like you to try to use. So if you could create, again, a document and name it drawing, and then the number of the drawing, your name, and then the date. All right, and this is the working space that you're given. Remember, up here in the left-hand corner is the features window, the browser and inventor, the view cube in the upper right-hand corner, these planes right in the middle. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw on the front plane so that we start that way, and we're going to extrude away from me, away from your screen. All right, so we're going to start off by clicking up here where it says Sketch. We have to choose the plane we're sketching on. Why don't we click on the front view of the view cube so that's all we see. Now we're given the option of drawing a certain shape like a rectangle. I like to choose the origin to start. I drag. Once I've clicked, now I am given dimensions that I can change. So I think it's first giving me the X dimension, so I'm going to type that in as 2.25. If I hit enter, I can now change the Y dimension, 1.5 inches. And if I now click on the check mark up here in this window, that will finish the sketch. If I click here in the corner of the view cube, whoops, why don't I do this corner instead? Then you can see I have the left front edge of drawing number 9 done, or the left side, the left plane of drawing number 9 done. Now we're going to extrude it. So we're going to extrude again in this direction. This is the 1 inch dimension. So if I click on this object and now click on extrude, you can see it extruded out towards me, which is fine. I'm building. It has a default length of 1 inch, which is actually what we're going to use. So we are in fact done now extruding. That would be an add, by the way, in the future. We're done with that extrusion. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit by moving my mouse. I mentioned to you yesterday that to pan, you press on the control key and take your right mouse and move it, and that's how you move your object around. All right, so now let's go back to see what our object looks like. We need to take this part of a hole out of the right corner, upper right corner. All right, so how big is this hole? Well, if you look at the grid spacing here, I have 1, 2, 3 grids down to the bottom of this hole. So 3 times 0.25 is 0.75, and that is the radius. So if the corner was up here in the upper right corner, that would be a 0.75 inch radius or a 1.5 inch diameter. So let's now extrude out, or let's first draw a whole circle and then extrude it out. So again, the center of the hole is going to be here in the corner. We're going to start with this front face. Zoom in a little bit. All right. So now again, I'm going to sketch. I'm going to choose the plane that I'm sketching in by clicking. I come over here and I see a circle, a center point circle. I click on it. I want my center again to be this corner here, so I click on that. Then I drag. Now is where I need to click to end my circle, but again, I need to change this dimension. Again, it's 1.5 inches. Again, that's the diameter. The radius is 0.75. Now I hit return, and now I will click here, this check mark up here on the left, to finish the sketch. If I now click here and zoom in and pan, whoops, and pan, now I am ready to extrude. So I click here on extrude, I click on the circle. I don't want to add, I want to remove. And the depth is again 1 inch. You can also remove to a surface. But the 1 inch is the distance I want. So now I'm going to click, whoops, something went wrong. Let's try it again. Let's choose this face. Let's do a sketch. Choose this face. Choose a circle. Choose this as the center. Click. Type in the diameter. Finish the sketch. Zoom. Okay, so now we're going to try to extrude again. I click on the extrude feature here up in the upper left corner. I click on here. I don't want to add, I want to remove. 1 inch is the depth I want to remove to, but you can also extrude to a surface, like the back surface or to some other. I'm going to click complete that action by clicking on that check mark, and you can see extruded out. So the mistake that I made earlier is I clicked on the whole circle. I should have just clicked on that one corner of the circle. All right, there is one last feature of this drawing, and that is a filleted corner. That is a smooth or curved corner. So let's add that in. Now you might say, well, what's the radius of this fillet? Well, it's hard to tell, but if you look, it looks almost like the radius is 0.25 or 1 square. Do you notice that one corner of this arc goes to that corner of the grid square, and the other corner goes, the other end of the curve goes to this corner of this square or grid. So that looks like a 0.25 inch fillet. Fillet is this tool here. Whoops, chamfer. Fillet is this tool here up in the ribbon. So I click on it. I click on the object that I want to add the fillet to. And then here is where I tell it, here in the window, is where I tell it how big I want. Enter. And then I know my little tab is just, my little green check mark is a little hard to see there, but it would be up in that under there. All right, we have completed that this object that I was asked to draw. Well, one thing I will ask you to do later is add dimensions. I think we'll save that for the next video. Thank you.